Asterisk, have you ever looked up at the sky and quietly whispered, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis, God, are you still listening? Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, maybe, no one else knows the battle you're fighting? Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, maybe, you've smiled in front of people while your heart was silently breaking. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, but today, don't click away. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, because this message may be the answer you've been praying for. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, the Bible tells us that God's voice is often heard in the quiet moments. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, and perhaps this quiet moment was prepared just for you. Asterisk, life has a way of making us feel forgotten. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, there are days when nothing goes right. Asterisk, the phone never rings. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, the opportunity never comes. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, the prayer seems unanswered. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, and little by little, hope begins to fade. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, but here's the truth. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, God has never abandoned a single person who continued to trust him. Asterisk, think about. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis. Abraham. Asterisk, God promised him something impossible. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, a son. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, a future. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, a great nation. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, but the promise didn't happen overnight. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, year after year. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis. Abraham waited. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, he grew older. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, the promise seemed impossible. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, yet God never broke his word. Asterisk, sometimes God's greatest miracles take the longest to arrive. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, not because. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis. God is slow. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, but because. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis. He's preparing the right time. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, the right place. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, and the right version of you. Asterisk, maybe today you're asking. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, why is everyone else moving forward while I'm still waiting? Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, the answer may surprise you. Asterisk, God isn't comparing your journey to anyone else's. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, your story has a different purpose. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, your season has a different assignment. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, and your blessing will arrive exactly when heaven says it's time. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, so don't lose hope. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, don't stop praying. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, don't stop believing. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, because even now, while you're listening. Opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote. Asterisk, God is working behind the scenes, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, in ways you cannot see, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, in places you cannot reach, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, and through people you haven't even met, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, sometimes the greatest evidence that God is working, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, is when nothing around you seems to be changing, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, because while you see silence, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, God sees preparation, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, while you see delay, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, God sees perfect timing, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, and while you see an ending, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote, asterisk, God is already writing a brand new beginning, opening parenthesis ellipsis closing parenthesis quote,